Yes, mate, so how's it going? My name's Lee and welcome to the channel. This is my first ever FPL video, so take it easy. Today I'm going to be talking through my Game Week 1 kind of tips, my thought process. I'll go for my current draft and yeah, we'll have a little tinker about and kind of see what we can do to go against the template. Enjoy. Right, so this is my current draft. I know what you're thinking, no Salah. I know. What I'm kind of thinking is I want Trent, I want Robbo, and I want Diaz. So the only kind of person I can give up there is Salah, and I think there's as good premiums. You've got someone like De Bruyne or Kane, and City and Spurs have got a really good rotation. But I'll get into that in a moment. So my keeper's Edison. I've not had a premium keeper for a number of years now, particularly when going into Game Week 1. But the fixtures are so good. And you don't need to sell him. Like, you don't need to transfer him out because his fixtures are so good. The only issue I've got with him is either a 2 or a 6 pointer. He doesn't get save points and he doesn't get bonus points just because of the way City play. That's my only issue with him. I am looking at a couple of 4.5 million keepers, notably someone like Raya. The only issue is his fixtures aren't as good, but they have signed Ben Mee, so I'm hoping that kind of shows up the defence, but I'm not 100%. I won't speak too much about Trent. He is who he is. I mean, he gets an absolute ton of points. They've got really good fixtures, and he's probably one of the only players that I nailed in my team. I walked into my team. I will not be taking him out. Trent. I'm not going to talk about him any more than that. Zenjenko, I think, is a really interesting option. It depends how Arteta's going to use him. I think he'll start the season at left back, mainly because of the injury to Turner. But I think he'll start to move into that advanced centre midfield position. Kind of taken over from Xhaka. He's a bonus point monster. Like if you listen to like all the podcasts and check out his stats, he just gets so many bonus points. And I mean, you've got an out of position defender playing for a top 6 side. What more could you need? Now Delo is a bit of a funny one for me. Like, I want him at the same time I don't. They've got some good fixtures. He's looked good in pre-season, but United just aren't great. I am relying on those attacking returns, and I'm not too confident in him. He's one of the players that I am kind of tinkering about with, and you could put any player in that position there. I could move some funds about, and I could go for someone like Trippier, who I'm looking at. Doesn't have as good fixtures once again, but like with Delo, start with Brighton, go away to Brentford. They're 2 decent fixtures for me. Brighton are a good side. Brentford are decent as well, but I'd back us to do okay in that game. You know, he's looked good in pre-season. I think we'll attack a lot down the full-back, so that's the way Ten Hag likes to attack. So yes, I'm seriously considering. Anyway, I'm gonna move on to Robbo. Yeah, same again. It is who it is, and I like Robbo as an option. If I had Salah, I would go for Robertson over Diaz. That's just me personally. I think there's as good 8 million midfielders, and I'll discuss those in a moment. Robertson is he is who he is. He's up there with Trent. You almost guaranteed 180, 200 points a season with him. The guy's an absolute monster down that left flank, and he's looked better since Diaz has come in. It looks like Diaz kind of tucks in and he goes around the outside on the overlap, and he can cut back and get a lot of returns that way. Yeah, I really like the look of him, and I think he's a really good option. My midfield, I think Maddison's the best of the 8 million midfielders. I don't see him in a lot of teams. He's got Brentford and Southampton his first 3 games. Arsenal away is always a tough game for them, but I think they'll do okay in it as well. I really like him. He had a really good end to the season. He's still competing for that England spot, and I'm trying to look at players that are still kind of competing for their place in the national side, and he's one of them. I really like the look of him. He's almost their kind of talisman. He's like their linchpin for everything they do. I really like the look of him. He's on set pieces. Yeah, Maddison, underrated in my opinion. De Bruyne, now here's the one. I really want a City attacker, and I wasn't quite sure who to go for. I believe Haaland isn't as fit as I wanted. He hasn't played a lot of pre-season minutes, and that's kind of putting me off him. So I've gone for De Bruyne. And what I like about that is that I could easily swap those two between Kane and De Bruyne. I could go Son and Haaland, but I can have a think about with that. I really like him as an option. He's a really good captaincy pick. And the way kind of De Bruyne played towards the back end of the season, he was kind of floating about. He was given this kind of free roam. His legs have gone a little bit, and I think Guardiola knows this. And so he stays further forward. He's going to get goals. He's going to get assists. what more can you say about De Bruyne? Is an absolute beast. Moving on to Martinelli. He's another one that I'm not 100% nailed on. I'm not sure if he's going to start. He'll be sharing minutes with Martinelli, and I think their new player Vieira can play out wide as well. I'm not 100% on that. I do like him as an option. He took a penalty in the last game of the season as well. But he's another one that could chop and change from there. If I know he's nailed, 100% starting for Arsenal left wing, I think he's going to be Messiah, to be completely honest with you. He's a good price. At 6 mil, I really like him. He's a really good player, and I think with Jesus, he's got a focal point to play off. Brazilian as well. I think he could do some bits this season. I'd keep your eye on Martinelli. Yeah, have a look at him. Luis Diaz. He's looked really good since coming to Liverpool. I really like him as a player, and I can see why people are going for the Salah, Diaz, and Trent combination. But I just like the Trent, Robbo and Diaz combination. You're kind of going against the template a little bit, and if Salah bangs, you're in massive trouble. You are relying on your captain doing things in that way. But he's class, mate. He's an absolute class player off that left wing. He's got to come in for Mane, and with Jota injured, he'd be guaranteed nail for the start of the season. They've got amazing fixtures, Liverpool, and I think if you don't have 3 Liverpool players starting, I think you've got issues, mate. I think you really need 3 Liverpool players, at least 2 City players. The only issue you've got with that is Pep Roulette. And that's the reason why I've not gone for 3 City players. I do want to leave myself open for the Haaland transfer as well. That's the reason why I don't have Cancelo. Otherwise, I would have Cancelo, and I think Robertson's a good enough pick to kind of combat that. But Diaz is probably one of the best 8 million midfielders going. I think if I was to rank them, I would go Maddison, Diaz, Saka, Kulusevski. Who else am I missing? Foden, I'd go below that. I feel like I'm missing one. I can't think. I would definitely put Diaz up there though. They've got good fiction, and I think he'll do well this season. I think he will have a good season. Jesus, I mean, his ownership is through the roof. I think you need to be careful if you don't have Jesus, because he's one of those players similar to Salah. If he goes off the beginning of the season, you're in trouble if you don't have him. And you can have the template at the beginning, and I'm trying to think of ways to go against it. But Jesus just looks so good. Arsenal have got great fixtures. He's the focal point. Nailed on striker for a top 6 side. He's definitely going to get chances. He's got decent stats. Decent finishing stats. He will score goals, and I think he'll do well. I don't think he'll score as many as people think. I think he'll get maybe 15, 18 Premier League goals. It's a reasonable, good enough return. My only issue is are they going to put him on the left flank every now and again? I don't think they will. I think he wants to be a striker, and I think that's where Arteta's kind of spoke to him, and that's where he's going to look to be played. I think Arteta spoke to him, and he's given him some kind of reassurances of where he's going to play him, and I think he will play through the middle. I think he might be on pens as well. I wouldn't take my word for that, because Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus has took some for City as well. But I think he has given him some assurances there to say, you're the main man, you're the number 9, you'll be getting the goals. Is he on penalties? And if he is on penalties, that could 3 or 4 extra goals a season. That, yeah, Jesus, everyone's got him. You need him. Get him, mate. 8 mil, bargain. Harry Kane. He's looked good in pre-season, mate. Really, really good in pre-season. I really want a Spurs attacker. I'm not seeing a lot of people have Son or Kane, and I want one of them. The only issue is there are other options available, just like around the rest of the team. And I wanted a Spurs attacker. I've gone for Kane in this one because he's 0.5 million cheaper than Son. Ideally, I'd get Son, but then I'm pricing myself out of, or I don't have that price bracket for Haaland. If I've got Kane, I can easily get to Haaland in one move. Otherwise, I need 2. That's the reason why I've gone for Kane. Really good fixtures. I think he's going to score absolutely loads of goals this season. I think he'll get 25, probably 10 assists as well. I think he's just going to be an absolute monster this year. I'm starting with him, and he's got really good rotation, captaincy with De Bruyne. I'll start on Kane, even though I've not got it in the minute. Back to De Bruyne, so on and so forth. Game week 3 is one to look out for. Salah's got Man United. De Bruyne's got Newcastle. Newcastle away is going to be a tough game for them. Kane's got Wolves. I do not rate Wolves at all. I am considering a couple of other Spurs players. Sessegnon, I think, will start ahead of Perisic. He's one to look at. He's looking like an absolute monster. Like he's definitely bulked up in pre-season, and I would take a look at him. Kane's going to score goals. I don't really need to talk about it. Onto the bench. So I've got Ward from Leicester. If I seen the reports yesterday that Schmeichel's gone to Nice. Really bizarre transfer, by the way. Ward is a 4 million keeper that I think will start. He's got decent fixtures as well, and if he does start, I would consider just starting with Ward, you know. But then if Schmeichel's gone, they need to sign a keeper. Who they sign, I have no idea. That's one to keep an eye on. The rest of the bench is kind of template. Nico Williams, you've got a 4 million defender starting for Forest. I think he'll do all right as well. I'm looking at that game week 3 against Everton, and that was like a decent rotation with Dalot, who's up against Liverpool. I am tempted to bring him in, to be honest with you, but then the same can be said about Andreas Pereira. He's looked okay in pre-season. He's got a couple of assists, and I think he'll kind of take over that Carvalho role, playing just behind Mitrovic. He'll get some goals. He'll get some assists. I don't think he'll get a mass. I think 5 goals, 5 assists for the season, maybe pushing 10, 12 like combined returns for him, and I think that will be a decent return for a 4.5 million midfielder. Onto Archer, he's scored 2 or 3 goals in pre-season, and he played for Preston in the Championship last season and did really well. I was looking at some stats about him, and he was like one of the highest for goals and assists under the age of 21, I believe. He looks like a really good player. Depending on how Gerrard sets up, I think he could be in for some serious goals and points this season. I wouldn't start him regular. I would like some assurances from the way Villa play, and if they do play 2 up top, I think he will get some minutes. And also the way Villa play, if he was to get a goal, it would be almost guaranteed bonus points as well. That's just one to keep your eye on there. Overall, I am going to think about with the team. I'm not happy with it. I still can't get away from not having Salah. It's just a little thought process I'm going with, and you just need to bear with me. I'm a United fan. It kills me not to have any United players in there as well. I'm looking at Sancho. I'm looking at Martial. I see people going for Rashford. Mate, tell you, do not touch him. The guy's been terrible for 18 months. I would need a lot of reassurances that he was gonna do something this season before I even touched him. I'm not even I'm not even sure he's gonna start game week 1. He probably will, because we're not going to sign a right winger from the looks of things. We want Anthony. No idea what's going on there. He's one to keep your eye on, but if I could afford it, I would rather spend 0.5 million more, get Martial, or even more, go for Sancho. Sancho's looked really good in pre-season, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Besides that, I could drop some money from the keeper and upgrade elsewhere. I still want Cancelo, but if I get Cancelo, I would definitely get rid of Edison. And if I got rid of Edison, I'm looking at someone like only the 4.5s. I don't see any value in the 5 millions. Ramsdale looks okay, but I like the 3 Arsenal boys I've got. Don't see Mendy as an option at all. I would rather go for more premium, because the way Chelsea play, they have 5 defenders, and he's never going to get bonus points. They're not that great defensive. They've sold a lot of defenders. I think they're going to have some issues at the back this season, particularly early on. There might be someone to look at later on down the line, but nah, not for me. Anyway, let me know what you think of my team. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm trying to get into FPL. I did quite well last season. I came about 8,100 and something. So yeah, I'm doing alright. I'm really trying to go for it this season. But yeah, please subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace and love.